Joan of Arc. Teen girl defeats an empire. The story of a peasant girl who changed the fate of a nation and inspired generations. Throughout history, some rare individuals have risen from obscurity to change the course of nations. Rarer still are those who do so as teenagers, unarmed, untrained, and wholly underestimated. Joan of Arc was one such extraordinary figure. Born a humble peasant girl in 15th century France, she went on to lead armies, crown a king, and stand trial for her beliefs, all before the age of 20. Her story is one of unshakable faith, courage, and the incredible power of conviction. Joan didn't just challenge a military power, she challenged the societal norms of her time, defied the expectations placed on her gender and class, and ultimately changed history. France in crisis. A nation at war. To understand Joan's rise, we must first understand the world she was born into. France in the early 15th century was not the unified, powerful nation we know today. It was fractured by internal divisions and embroiled in the 100 Years' War, a prolonged conflict between France and England over the French crown. By the time Joan was born in 1412 in the village of Domremy, northern France was under English occupation, and the legitimate French king, Charles VII, had not even been crowned. The country was demoralized, politically unstable, and seemingly on the verge of collapse. Joan grew up in a devout Catholic household. She never learned to read or write, but she was known locally for her religious devotion and strong character. At the age of 13, she began experiencing what she later described as divine visions and voices, messages from saints like Michael the Archangel, Catherine of Alexandria, and Margaret of Antioch. These voices gave her a startling command. She was chosen by God to lead France to victory and to ensure the coronation of Charles VII. The call of destiny, from peasant to prophet. At first, no one took her seriously. She was, after all, a teenage girl in a world where women had no voice, no authority, and no place in warfare. But Joan's sincerity, determination, and spiritual intensity won her supporters. In 1429, at just 17, she persuaded a local commander to escort her to the royal court in Chinon. There, she sought an audience with Charles VII and amazed the court by recognizing him in disguise, a moment that helped convince the future king that she was divinely inspired. Charles, desperate for a miracle, allowed her to join the army. Clad in armor and carrying a white banner bearing the names of Jesus and Mary, Joan of Arc was unlike any leader the French had ever seen. She didn't fight with a sword, she fought with faith. Her mere presence lifted morale among the troops, and she quickly became a symbol of hope for the French people. The Siege of Orléans. Joan's first victory. Her first major military campaign came at the Siege of Orléans, a strategic city under English control. Before Joan's arrival, French forces had been losing ground, and the city's fall seemed inevitable. But Joan's leadership ignited a new spirit among the soldiers. She led a series of bold attacks, often placing herself at the front lines with her banner flying. In a matter of days, the French turned the tide and lifted the siege, a stunning victory that shocked both friend and foe. The triumph at Orléans made Joan a national hero overnight. More importantly, it set the stage for her next goal, the coronation of Charles VII. Despite dangerous conditions, she led the king's procession through enemy territory to Reims, the traditional site of royal coronations. On July 17, 1429, Charles was officially crowned king, with Joan standing proudly at his side. For a moment, it seemed that France had found not only its rightful monarch but also its divine champion. Downfall and betrayal. However, Joan's meteoric rise also made her enemies. Her growing influence at court threatened powerful nobles and clergy who questioned her authority and were wary of her claims to divine guidance. Moreover, political tensions between factions in France made her a convenient scapegoat. In 1430, during a minor battle near Compiègne, Joan was thrown from her horse and captured by the Burgundians, French allies of the English. Rather than negotiating her release, Charles VII did nothing to rescue her. The English, eager to crush the symbol of French resistance, paid a ransom and took Joan to Rouen for trial. Her trial was a cruel travesty of justice. Conducted by pro-English church officials, it was designed to humiliate and condemn her. Joan, still only 19, endured months of interrogation. She was accused of heresy, witchcraft, and the unpardonable offense of wearing men's clothing. Yet even under intense pressure, Joan remained defiant. She refused to deny her visions or betray her beliefs. When asked whether she believed she was in God's grace, a trick question designed to trap her, she replied, "If I am not, may God put me there, and if I am, may God so keep me." Her answer stunned her inquisitors and demonstrated her unshakable resolve. Despite her bravery, Joan was found guilty. On May 30, 1431, she was burned at the stake in the marketplace of Rouen. As the flames rose around her, she cried out the name of Jesus. Posthumous vindication and sainthood. 25 years after her death, a new trial was held at the request of her family and under orders from Charles VII. This retrial found Joan innocent of all charges and declared that she had been the victim of a corrupt and politically motivated process. In 1920, the Catholic Church canonized her as a saint. Joan of Arc has since become one of the most revered figures in Western history. She is a national heroine in France, a symbol of resistance against oppression, and a patron saint of soldiers and the country itself. Her image has appeared in countless books, plays, films, and artworks, continuing to inspire new generations. Legacy of a teen heroine. What makes Joan of Arc's story so powerful is not just what she accomplished, but who she was. She was a teenage girl in a world ruled by men, yet she led armies. She was uneducated, yet she outwitted scholars and priests. She was a peasant, yet she stood beside kings. Joan's life is a reminder that courage, purpose, and faith are not bound by age, status, or gender. She wasn't born a warrior, a saint, or a leader. She became one. Through sheer conviction, she stepped into history and forever changed the course of a war and a nation. Joan of Arc didn't just defeat an empire, she dismantled every limitation placed on her by society. Her voice, once ignored, became one that would echo through the centuries. The legacy lives on. Joan of Arc remains one of the most inspiring figures the world has ever known. Her story is not just about war or politics, it is about the power of belief, the courage to act, and the incredible potential of youth. In an age when women had no rights and teenagers had no authority, Joan of Arc stood up, spoke out, and altered the destiny of a nation. She was a teenager. She was a girl. She was a visionary. And she defeated an empire. Joan of Arc's story proves that one voice, no matter how young or underestimated, can echo through the centuries. From a village peasant to a battlefield leader, from trial and flames to sainthood and legend, Joan's courage continues to inspire millions around the world. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you see history in a new light, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible true stories from the past. Hit that bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and remember, greatness knows no age.